2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Thirty seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Let me tell you, the response to the show has been absolutely amazing. People can't believe that a young conservative millennial continues to fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and talks about issues that some are even afraid to talk about. But we do it because we understand the importance of this. And now we're seeing it absolutely blow up all across the nation.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
And welcome into the Voice of Reason. It is a Tuesday, the post-Monday celebration, the greatest day of the entire week, and it's a fun one. There is rumor that Joe Biden is dominating the Twitter world now. It's no longer Donald Trump. Donald Trump used to say the abrasive, crazy things that everybody wanted to pay attention to. Now apparently it's Joe Biden. Not quite sure how that works. Welcome into the program, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, in the heartland of the country, all over the country on radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting. Doesn't matter where you're at. I'm trying to figure out why he's such a big deal here. And yet I just don't understand. I don't get it. You can follow us on social media, on your Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, on YouTube as well, all at Hooser Reason. We have the live stream going up. The Facebook is working today. Not sure what happened yesterday, but the Facebook is working today. We're also on the website at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Thanks for swinging by today as we have a lot to get to. We are getting closer and closer. We are officially 2 weeks from today is Election Day. And do you realize how many ballots are actually going out early voting? Now, we've talked about October surprises before. I don't know when the big October surprise is going to happen, or even if we're going to get one. We are hanging in the balance now with Donald Trump saying that we need to go after the legal issues with Joe Biden, with all these emails that are coming out with Hunter Biden, and that we need to go after him legally. And I completely agree. I like the idea that we're actually finding out and understanding some of the facts that are going on in the world. We've always joked about the deep state. We've always talked about politicians being corrupt. We've always said that they're out for themselves, which is true. Both sides of the aisle, Republicans, Democrats, progressives, conservatives, whatever, we all kind of agree. The big establishment, the big government, everybody up top there, everybody doing it for themselves, not necessarily for the people. We don't necessarily trust politicians. We don't necessarily like politicians. And we've always had that ongoing joke. There are two of the oldest professions in history, and one of them's a politician, right? We've always talked about this. So why is it a big surprise that we see someone like Joe Biden actually using government for their political advantage or for their financial advancement with Hunter Biden, with all these emails that are coming out? The problem is that we're overlooking it and making it just so blasé. We've become so numb to quote-unquote breaking news every single day. Breaking news, shattering news is the most important thing you've ever heard in your entire life. And we get so accustomed to hearing stuff like that after a while we get numb to it. So when we do have actual breaking, extremely important news, then it's really just like, all right, what's new? The problem is this is actually something that's really big and needs to be addressed, and we need to have some type of legality coming after Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and everybody else that's actually involved, including the Clintons, including Obama, including everyone else. So my question is why is this not big breaking news? Is because people are looking the other way. Now we see the headlines. Like I'm looking on Drudge Report, just looking at the news headlines. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. MAGA rally. Is America ready for boring again, according to the latest magazine? Let's see. Biden fends off MAGA playbook, like we talked about yesterday. Oh, it's so old. He attacked Hillary Clinton like this. It's not going to matter that he's attacking Joe Biden like this. It's not going to work, just like it wasn't going to work in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. They're blowing it off. Now, Drudge Report's ridiculous anymore, and I don't usually focus or watch or pay attention to Drudge Report any longer because there's no need. There's really no need. It is so far left and ridiculous anti-Trump that I don't even want to look at it anymore. I can't stand it. But I like to bring it up once in a while to see the headlines, to see what they're trying to focus on. You can see the political agenda coming out here, that Joe Biden's going to bring us back to normalcy. He's going to bring just the calm and collect in the nation. The civil unrest is going to go down. Everybody's going to be happy again. But yet, we hear about everybody now beginning to turn their backs on Joe Biden, and the media is not covering that. You hear 50 Cent, the rapper. Don't know his music, never listened to it in a day of my life. But came out and said, wow, looking at the different tax plans and proposals from the two candidates, yeah, everybody needs to be voting for Donald Trump. Wait a second. Isn't he of the minority descent and the African-American descent? Because I thought all black people hated Donald Trump because he's such an evil racist. Oh, that's right. That's not the real case, but the media tries to tell you it is. Yesterday, we played a clip from the UFC fighter, Jorge Masvidal, who's from Cuba, who actually went on the campaign trail talking about Donald Trump, went on Fox News endorsing Donald Trump, along with many other UFC stars, by the way, and Dana White, the owner of the UFC, which is one of my most favoriteest guys because he's just awesome, coming out and endorsing Donald Trump. Wait a second, I thought minorities didn't like Donald Trump. I thought Hispanic communities didn't like Donald Trump because he's an evil racist wanting to build the wall up and saying that all Hispanics are all rapists and murderers, which that's not the case, but that's what they accuse him of. While they try and say that Trump is done, he's over, to the point to where they even say that his former Hollywood television producer that got him all the shows before is already working on a TV deal for him when he walks out of the White House. They've come to the conclusion that he's done. He is over. There is no way that he can win this election. Everybody's writing him off, just as they wrote him off in 2016. Now they're trying to say, well, we learned our lesson, and now we're going to write him off here. And I know Donald Trump obviously isn't the only person on the ticket to go and vote for. There are so many other races that I want to talk about throughout the show today as well. We were going to have on Dr. Gerard Lamiero. Wasn't able to get a hold of him, author of the book Real World Socialism. And the reason I want to get him on the show is because he is the ultimate expert when it comes to predictions on these elections. He's followed studies, he's followed trends, he's followed the numbers down to like the local precinct levels all across the nation, and he's done this for years and years and years, and he notices trends, and he's written 2 or 3 books now on predictions on election by election, and he's been rock solid. He's predicting a massive landslide victory for Donald Trump, so I want to see if his predictions are still true, if they're still real, if they're still going to happen. So we tried to get a hold of him, can't get a hold of him today. We'll see if we can't get him on later on in the show, or if we just have to move it to another day. Things come up. I get it. I know. It's totally okay. So we'll get him on here real soon. But right now, according to the media, how much you can actually trust the media, it's just a landslide. It's done. It's over before it's begun. And then we see the massive amount of votes that are coming in already. Georgia's early vote soars 142%, according to MSN.com, after GOP attacks mailed ballots. So again, they got to put their spin on there. Republicans attack mail-in ballots and mail-in voting, and then they soar 142%. So look at that. More people are voting by mail while the Republicans trash it and they don't like it. So that means, according to them, Democrats are the ones using the mail-in ballots. We see 142% increase in the state of Georgia, and therefore, by golly, the Democrats are coming out in groves to come and vote against Donald Trump. It's not the Republicans with the excitement. It's the Democrats. Here's the problem with that mindset. The Democrats, think about it in the terms of current today times. Number one, you have the Democrats that are terrified of this virus, like to the point of wanting to crawl into a basement and never come out again and look at everything through the virtual lens. Remember that movie? What was that movie? Surrogate with Bruce Willis, where they live in their basements and they had the surrogate thing and they had their surrogates that walk around for them and go to their daily jobs and they do their daily thing. And then the surrogate comes home and they like shock themselves in the neck as a type of drug that they were using to gather around and have a good time. They were surrogates because they didn't want to go out there in person because they were scared to death of the world. These are the Democrats right now. They're terrified of the world. So the Democrats are not going to show up on election day to vote because there's going to be large crowds. There's going to be people around. You'd actually have to like associate with other people. You'd have to mingle with other human beings. They don't like that. To them, that's terrifying. They want the bubble around them. They would like, you ever see those balls where the kids like, climb into the big, massive, like translucent ball and they run into each other and bounce down the hill? That's what Democrats want to do on a daily basis. I'm serious. They want to live in those big bubbles. They want to walk around in those bubbles. I mean, that'd be a 6-foot distance of social distancing. You'd have the protective bubble around you. They are children already because when they don't get what they want, they throw a temper tantrum. So now you just get them, whatever that ball, what's that ball called? The big, Jumpalooza, whatever. I don't know. They get in that big old thing. It creates the social distancing. You can see where you're going. You can run into people and not have actual contact. You have the protective bubble around you. That is the life of a Democrat in 2020. They're not going to show up to the polls on election day. All of their voting is going to be done prior to either early voting in person or early voting by mail. That's it. So they could have this nice little trend of, look at the massive polls coming in right now. Look at how great things are going right now. Look how wonderful that we have the polls coming in right now. Everybody's Democrat. Democrats are up against Republicans. Look at this. Mail-in ballots are up 150%. So what? We don't know the actual numbers there. The mail-in ballots could be what they were, 10,000 before. Now they're 20,000. 100% increase of mail-in ballots. Look at all the people that are voting. We're going to see early voting. We're going to see more trends of mail-in ballots. So what? That does not mean that the race is over. Republicans, you have to remember, for the most part, have a civic patriotic emotion built into their DNA that when we see an American flag, when we hear about voting on election day, when we talk about getting our I voted sticker, there's something sentimental about that makes us bawl our eyes out. Because we feel very sentimental about election day and about doing our civic duty of going on election day, stepping into the ballot booth, closing the curtain if you still have one of those, or, putting the screen up next to you, and then pushing the button or pulling the lever or filling in the blank. However you wish to do that, you should do that, and that's how some feel really patriotic, is by going on election day. There's nothing wrong with that. But while they try and discredit us, while they try and knock us down, while they are the bullies all on the left side of the aisle and on the mainstream media, trying to tell us that it's game over, just accept your defeat already. It's the trash-talking person before the fight, before the game, before the sporting event that ends up getting whooped at the end of the day because they talked too much trash, and then they're going to have to eat crow. And I'm okay with this because we're going to show them what we do when we turn out on election day. That's not saying Republicans aren't voting. Some Republicans aren't voting early or voting by mail, but most of them are not. I've told you the story. I've met numerous individuals that are a little bit older, that probably have health conditions, that probably shouldn't be out in public because of the COVID-19, that said, I am showing up on election day. I'll wear my mask. I'll do the preventative measures that I need to, but I'm showing up on election day because it's that important. There's something about that day where you wake up, you go to the polling place, you can sign in, you can push that button, pull that lever, fill in that blank with the pencil, however you end up voting, getting that sticker and walking out and saying, I'm proud of how I voted. So they can talk about all the greatness of how 100, 140, 150% increase in mail-in ballots, Republicans attacking it and people are doing it more. People are defying the Republican Party. They can say that all they want to. Is it going to change the election? I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Is it going to change the outcome of the election? I'm still concerned about voter fraud potentially by mail. We saw mail ballots getting sent multiple times to the same address because they had errors on them. You saw the wrong types of ballots being sent to the wrong kinds of people. Here in Kansas, we actually, in the western part of the state, we actually had individuals receive a typo on their ballot where it was a state Senate race and it was labeled as a U.S. Senate race for district number 70 or whatever it was there. There are typos going on. There are mishaps going on. And that's before they even fill them out. Then on top of that, you have the ones that are actually trying to mail them out, and then they get lost in the mail or they get burned in the mail bin that you can drop them off at, which we read that story out in LA yesterday. There's many issues even after you fill it out and you try to actually turn it in. So yeah, there's a little concern there, but guess what? The problem is for them, after they've tried to create this fear of, oh my gosh, everything's fine, everything hunky-dory, just put on the blinders and just ignore it all, then you realize there are issues. Guess what? The issues are happening with the ones that are wanting to vote early, predominantly on the left side of the aisle, while you and I are going to show up on Election Day. Reason number 254, why I think we're going to have a landslide victory come November 3rd. And I still stick to my prediction of having 320 Electoral College votes for President Donald Trump, but we'll see. It's coming up soon. We'll get our guest on here in a little bit when we come back as well. It's The Voice of Reason on a Tuesday.
Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on The Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with The Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the show. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a Tuesday, the post-Monday celebration. Trying to rebrand that millennial generation, one radio listener at a time. Trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, because that's just what we do here on this program. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, doesn't matter where you're at. You can find us on social media at Hooser Reason. Again, no I in Hooser, Hooser, Reason. On all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Minds.com, also on Parler. We're on all of those. You can find us at Hooser Reason. Also on the website at HooserReason.com. We do have the live stream. It took me a little bit, but I got it up there, HooserReason.com. The live stream is on there as well. Facebook is working today, which it was not working yesterday. Not sure what was going on there, but we are back and rolling there today as well. I'm trying to scroll through. I can't find anything. So they're saying that Joe Biden is the new Donald Trump on Twitter, where he's the one that's really raising Cain, so to speak, on Twitter, and I'm just not seeing it. I don't know where, I can't find it. I don't know what's going on. So, I mean, he's tweeting, but he's not tweeting anything really out of the norm. So, 2 weeks from today, we're going to beat Donald Trump. Yesterday, real Donald Trump decides to attack Dr. Fauci, waving a white flag and saying, "It is what it is. Mr. President, the people are tired." I mean, other than just complaining about Donald Trump, there's nothing on there. There's nothing on there. What the heck does that mean, that we're all of a sudden he's going to be the new Donald Trump on Twitter? Doesn't make any sense to me. So I'll continue to search. Maybe he's got some shock and awe kind of Twitter on there, but I just don't see it. When we come back, we got a couple minutes here before the bottom of the hour. When we come back, Democrats are favored to win the Senate, according to 538. Why would the Senate go Democrat if the U.S. president's going to go Republican? My question has always been, if you're going to vote one, why would you vote the other way on the other side? And it's about the person. I don't know. Is it really about the person? I still think Republicans are going to come back strong with what's happening because, I mean, right now, look at the issues. There's civil unrest in cities that are making people very angry. They're suing the cities because law enforcement won't do what they need to do to protect the citizens, which if you're paying your tax money into law enforcement and you kind of want that service back, right? You want them to actually do their jobs. Here's the latest from Fox News. Minneapolis residents sue city council for lack of police, blame defund police movement. City council in June voted to completely defund the police department, and yet they're still working in that mindset. So you know what? Sue the city. Sure. If all your tax money went towards that and they're not providing the services, then why the heck not? According to 8 Minneapolis residents are suing the city council over a lack of police presence amid spikes in violent crime in the city, according to the local news reports. You're going to see this all over the place. Now, let me ask you, this is now a swing state. This is now a swing city. If Democrats were going to continue to control it, why are the people finally getting angry and rising up and saying, no more, we're going to sue the city council that allowed this thing to happen? Makes sense. We're here together in unison to say enough is enough, according to those community activists. Oh, you like that word, community activist? You like that word? Usually community activism, remember that word from all the way back in during the Barack Obama reign? Community activist. He was a that's right, he was a community organizer. He was a not a community activist, but a community organizer, and that's what was going to solve the whole world, was being a community organizer. Not a whole lot of background and not a whole lot of experience in anything, but he was a community organizer. Well, people are rising up. Now we can take those terms back. We're community activists. We are the rabble-rousers. We are the ones that are sick and tired of the status quo, and we will change things, and there's nothing wrong with that. So community organizing is what's going to lead us into the time of fixing what needs to be fixed, and that is the left-wing progressives that are dominating these cities, that have been running them into the ground for years, whether it's high taxes, whether it's high regulation, whether it's trying to do dumb things in their communities. Either way, they're going to be changed one way or another, and I think one way to change that is with the elections this year, both at the national level all the way down to the local level. Got to take about an hour break. When we come back, is the Senate going to flip blue? And if it does, what could that mean both with a Republican or a Democrat presidency? Might be kind of interesting depending on one or the other. It's The Voice of Reason. It is a Tuesday. Lots more coming up. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
when reason meets radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
All right, so you got to love live radio. You got to love live radio. So while we're doing the segment, first off, I went through my email and found Dr. Gerard Lamiero, who's going to be on the show today. He actually wasn't going to be on the show today. He was going to be on next Tuesday. So you want to know how much of a dork Andy is? How much of a dork Andy is? We could do that segment today, and that's the fact that I read it wrong, and I thought he was going to be on today instead of next week. So it's just you and I today. We're looking forward to it, which honestly is a really good thing because I love getting his predictions on the election, and I want to get them as close to election time as possible. So we'll get Dr. Gerard Lamiero on. He's author of the book, Great News for America, More Great News for America, and its latest book, Real World Socialism. All of it on his website at greatnewsforamerica.com. So we'll get him on next week. And we'll get video-wise, by the way, too. It's going to be on Skype, so we can be able to watch him on the feed, so you can watch the live streaming, which you can all over social media at Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, and on the website at HooserReason.com. He'll be on the show next weekend. Tomorrow, and I double-confirmed this one, so this one's good to go. Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Remember him? Yeah. He's a really cool guy. He's going to be jumping on with us via video Skype tomorrow as well, so you're not going to want to miss that one. Plus, so you've been hearing about the latest bet that we've been making with one of the listeners, and we have a contract actually drawn up for this. We're working on that, so he's going to be on the show with us tomorrow, and we'll look forward to chatting with him, listener Doug, as we have the official bet laid down on how this is going to work going into the general election and our predictions for this. So looking forward to that tomorrow. So tomorrow's a big show. We have it lined up. And next Tuesday, you're not going to want to miss Dr. Gerard Lamiero. I want to get his final predictions. We're going to write them down. We're going to hold on to them and see how accurate he is come the election just 2 weeks from today. Welcome back into the show, no matter where you may be listening, radio, TV, live streaming, or podcasting. We appreciate you very much. Also, by the way, so we're on live radio. We're doing this, and I'm here at the KQAM studios, and we have our office manager comes in and just looking at me as I'm doing that last segment, and I'm like, what? I'm on a show here. What are you doing? And she comes in just like waving, like, hey, what? During the break, she showed me in the room next to us, there was a water pipe that apparently had broken or leaked or something, and there's water all over the place. So, yeah, so I'm glad I'm aware of that now. Now we can address that later on. But it was just like, okay, well, you know what? The beauty of live radio, that's what we do here on the program. So I did find, I guess, one tidbit of information from Joe Biden's Twitter that I guess is really exciting. So breaking news from Joe Biden outside of his basement. Now, this was from 2 hours ago tonight. So what's happening apparently tonight? The Avengers are assembling with real-life superhero Kamala Harris for a grassroots fundraiser. Time is running out to join the team. Make sure to sign up. So they actually had the banner on there. Apparently that's really big news. The Avengers, like the actual characters from the Avengers movies. Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, a couple others. They are meeting in, I don't even know where they're meeting. Today, 6:45 with Senator Kamala Harris, hosted by the Russo brothers. The cast of the Avengers Unite for Democracy. That's their big fundraiser tonight. Now, again, I don't know why people actually pay attention to celebrities actually showing up and actually wanting to campaign for one candidate or another. Not that big of news, but apparently that's really big news for them because the Avengers, the superheroes, are meeting with real-life superhero Kamala Harris. She has the power of things that we can't say on the radio. But hey, you know what? Real people, real superheroes, real macho men are still voting for Donald Trump.
I'm going to let you in on something. The Democrats just think that they're entitled to the Latino vote. They think that we just have to hand it over to them. That's right. We sure as hell don't. You know what else is not going to work for them? Playing Despacito on your cell phone to pander to us. Hell no. You got to give us some credit for having heads on our shoulders. We either re-elect President Trump and keep America great. Amen. Or we let Joe Biden destroy the greatest country the world has ever seen. I've always seen things through a sports lens. That makes Donald Trump our head coach. And before the global pandemic, we were winning Super Bowls. And when you're winning Super Bowls, you don't fire the coach. Doesn't matter if you don't like the plays he runs, the players he puts on the field, or what he says on Twitter. You sure as hell don't replace him for another coach that's been in the business for 47 years at every level and never won a game.
That was Jorge Masvidal, the UFC fighter. And again, I'm sorry. As much as you may like the cuteness of Chris Evans, as much as you may like Chris Hemsworth with his flowing blonde hair, that is my Mrs. Voice of Reason's crush. That is, she loves Chris Hemsworth. All about that. But regardless, Chris Evans he's Captain America, isn't he? Yeah, and I like Captain America. As a kid, Captain America was my favorite guy because he's American. And he wears the red, white, and blue, and he saves the day, and I loved it. Chris Evans, a nice enough guy, I guess, very progressive. But you know what? Sorry. Any one of these guys from the UFC could be able to take him out in a match any day of the week. So I'll take the real men who are actually supporting the real world, someone like Donald Trump, over the playmakers and the fakers like Hollywood stars and Chris Evans. And although Chris Hemsworth, he's not really political, although I am a little bit sad and devastated about The Rock. Can we just admit The Rock's kind of an awesome guy, really nice dude, and his first political endorsement is a Joe Biden? Really? Doesn't make any sense to me. So here it is. Now we have 538. They do the predictions. They try and weigh all the options. They show the options on how one candidate could win versus another, the favorability, the predictions of what's going to happen. And they say that according to 538.com right now, the Democrats are favored to win the Senate. Now, they also say Democrats are favored to win the presidency with Joe Biden as well. So I guess you have that. But is it going to go all one way, or is it going to go halvesies? Are we going to get both a Republican presidency and a Republican Senate, or are we going to get a Democrat presidency with a Democrat Senate at the same time, or is it going to split? Because I personally have a really tough time trying to understand how you can have it split and go one way for one side and one way for the other side. I know that they break them down into more districts, so you have more of a favorability one way or the other, and you can actually have Democrats win districts for the Senate, but then win the presidency overall for the state. I understand that, or vice versa. I get it. At the same time, though, let's be honest. If you're voting for Donald Trump, probably one of the most divisive people in American history, either you absolutely love him or you absolutely hate him, why would you vote for Republican Donald Trump and then vote for a Democrat senator? Which means if you're in a district that's predominantly towards right-leaning, Republican-leaning in a state that goes towards Donald Trump, they're probably going to be leaning towards a Senate candidate that's a Republican as well. Same with the House of Representatives. I see a Republican flip and a Republican majority in the House of Representatives. We need to have a Republican majority in the House of Representatives, or else Nancy Pelosi is going to be trying impeachment again, and she's going to be blocking everything that we do this entire next couple of years. We need to have a Republican House of Representatives, and I think we can do it. We've talked to a few different House candidates that are on the show here, and I think we have an opportunity to flip these seats back red to what that were predominantly red before, that flipped blue just a couple years ago. We can do that. We can do that. But do you see a split Democrat majority in the Senate with a Republican president, or do you see it going both either Republican in both chamber, or with the president in the Senate and Democrat? To me, that's more reasonable. To me, that makes more sense, because either people are going to vote all Democrat across the board down the ticket, or all Republican across the board down the ticket. I'm not quite sure how many people are like, I don't know, I'm going to hit there, I'm going to hit over here, I'm going to hit over here. I'd really love Donald Trump to get his policies done, but I really want a Democrat majority so that way Chuck Schumer can lead the Democrats in the Senate. I don't know anybody that would ever say that, but you know what I mean. Just Kansas here is a perfect example. We have an open Senate seat that's been Republican, by the way, since 1930 in this state. No Democrat has held a U.S. Senate seat since 1930 in the state of Kansas. An open Senate seat where we have a Democrat with over $20 million in fundraising and a Republican with like $5 million in fundraising. $3 million, whatever it was. Nowhere near the $20 million that the Democrat has. Now, the Democrat has an uphill battle because we have Republicans that will show up and will win in Kansas. Donald Trump is an easy win for the state of Kansas. But will we flip the Senate seat blue because of? I just don't see it happening. To me, I can't quite grasp that unless there are those few out there still that are more about voting for the person as opposed to the party. And I know there's a lot of people out there, vote the person, vote the character of the person, don't vote just party line, because party line can be very corrupt and party line can be very bad. I understand those arguments, and I guess we haven't had this talk in a while, but I think in the general election, I've always advocated for party over person. Now, I know that's very controversial to say. I know. Party over person. And I guess I need to explain where I got that from. When I first started off in radio and I was interning for talk radio, many people across the country may have heard this name, even in different parts of the area that you may be listening to. Mike Rosen from the great 850 KOA in Denver, Colorado, big 100,000-watt radio station. I grew up, obviously, in Colorado for high school, and as a kid, I went to the broadcasting school in Colorado, and I listened to Mike Rosen since I was a child. I mean, all through middle school and high school, he was always there. I always listened to Mike Rosen. He was the god of talk radio in Colorado. He filled in for Rush Limbaugh a couple of times. He had just retired a couple of years ago. We've had him on the show many times before because he's a great personal friend and a great mentor to me. And he had written a piece that really was the iconic piece from Mike Rosen. Mike Rosen was known for the argument of party over person. And he made that argument over and over and over. And it made so much sense to me because I'm not an advocate for third-party voting because third-party voters very, 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 very rarely actually get into office. And what they do is they end up hurting your cause more than helping your cause because you take away votes from someone who may be more aligned with you than someone who may be farther less aligned with you. And you may agree with them only 20% of the time, but yet the other person, the Democrat or the Republican, you'd only agree with maybe 5% of the time. And personally, I'd rather get someone that I agree with 20% of the time than someone I agree with 5% of the time. I'm not always going to get that person I agree with 100% of the time, and he advocated for the party over person mentality. And I completely agree. Even if you like a Democrat in your state for a Senate seat more so than the Republican, is it worth flipping the entire U.S. Senate to a Democrat majority to block every single agenda that you want for Donald Trump if you like Donald Trump? And vice versa for the Democrats and the Republicans. To me, it just doesn't make any sense.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, buddy, one segment left. It goes by way too fast. Way too fast. Welcome back into the show. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a Tuesday. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, no matter where you may be or how you may be listening. I'm getting a lot of comments about that last segment. Andy, really? Party over person? Really? Character doesn't matter? Andy, the parties are corrupt? Andy, I know. And we had a comment on Podbean live stream. You're absolutely right. You kind of stole my thunder. You knew where I was going with this because maybe you've heard the show a few times or two. See, I see how you are. But yes, the primary, while we vote party over person in the general election, at least in my opinion, you do whatever you want to. This is my thought process here, my crazy wackadoodle process. Party over person in the general election, the way you change the party, the way you hold the party accountable, the way you make sure the party represents you. Remember, you don't have to be part of a party, a political party. You can choose to be or not be part of a party, any party that you want to be part of or not be part of. It's all up to you. You can do whatever you want to do. The reason people join political parties is to have a larger voice, to try and fight for the same agenda, relatively, although they try and widen the umbrella. And sometimes, in my opinion, both parties try to widen the umbrella just a little bit too much, including the Republican Party. But that's where it comes down to. While you vote party over person in the general election, the primary election is the number one most important election you can make because that sets the tone for the party. What the platform's going to look like, what the candidates are going to fight for, what the vision is going to be for the party, what the face of the party is going to look like. The primary is where you set that tone. By that time, the primary is pretty much the structuring of the party every election. What are we going to look like? How are we going to fight these things? What are we going to fight for? What's going to be the number one priority for us? What are we going to stand on? That's what you do. You're building your home at that time with the primary election. By the time you get into the general election, you already have your house, baby. You're already there. You've already built it up. Now you're going to sit there and say, you know what? We have the best egg-on house in the world, and you should come check it out. Now you should join this because this is our messaging. This is what we stand for. This is who we stand for. This is what we're going to fight for. Join us. And you are a unified family. It's what you are in the general election. That's what you should be in the general election. We've said it. If you don't like the way the parties go and get involved, join the local party in your county, in your city. Join it. Go knock on doors. Become a representative. Become a city councilman. Become a board of education member. Join them. And then fight for what you believe is right. And when you do that, people will follow. If you build it, they will come. Remember that phrase? If you build it, they will come. If you stand for something, you stand for a principle, you stand for a vision, you stand for something because you're frustrated, because you want a change, because you're doing it for your family, because you're doing it for your children, you're doing it for the next generation, you do it for whatever. If you stand for something, people will follow you. There will always be those. That was the beauty of the internet, right? If you wanted to bake a cake while dressed up in a Stormcloak suit, you could do that. And there were probably 10 other people in the world to be like, that's an awesome idea. And you'll go viral on YouTube because that's what that's for now. But you could do that because if you do it, people will follow. The same is for politics. With how energized people are in today's election cycle, if you lead, people will follow. Stop being a follower, but be a leader. And if you see someone leading and fighting for what you believe in, then follow them, not blindly, but you follow them to help fight for that cause together. You do it arm in arm together and let them be your representative. Let them fight for those needs. Let them fight for those visions that you want. And then you're good, baby. We got this. That's what a party's for. That's what a party should be for. And if you don't like the direction of the party, you don't walk away and leave it. The Republican Party and the Democrat Party are still the most powerful parties in the political system in American history. They have the most money. They have the most voices. They have the most presence. They control things, whether you like that or not. We have a two-party system, and we have to find ways to make our voice heard within those parties. And so far, right now, the Republican Party, in my opinion, is the best way to do that because Donald Trump is not a politician. He works with the people. He's the guy that's the multi-billionaire that builds a construction project, and he's down there hanging out with the welders and with the construction workers and teaching his kids, who are, by the way, the sons of a multi-billionaire, teaching them how to drive a forklift. That is the common average guy that wants to represent the common average guy. That's why Republicans overwhelmingly are supporting someone like Donald Trump, why he's got like a 98% approval rating for going into this election among the Republican votes. So you know what? We're united. Democrats right now, they're the bickering hens right now. They don't know what to stand for. Joe Biden's moderate. He's got 47 years of moderacy under his belt, but he's got the most progressive vice presidential candidate, and she's labeled as the #1 most progressive candidate in the U.S. Senate. And Bernie Sanders is somewhere tied in there, and he's got Beto O'Rourke to try and take your guns away, but yet he's the moderate guy, but he likes the Green New Deal. They don't know what they want because they're so torn because they've lumped people into identity politics so badly. It's destroying them, and they don't know how to get out of that box now because they've kind of cornered themselves. That does it for us today. Hope you enjoyed it. Podcast going up in a little bit tomorrow. Sheriff Joe Arpaio, you're not going to want to miss that interview. It's going to be a great one. Appreciate you. Be your own voice of reason as always. Time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is The Voice of Reason. Until then, everybody have a great Tuesday. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.